Well, let's shift our focus now to some corporate news. Kenya Airways has announced losses in the first half of this year. It is a marked turnaround from last year's return to profit. The airline posted an operating loss of about $47 million compared to an operating profit of $10 million in the prior period. It also posted a loss of about $92 million compared to a profit of about $4 million reported in the prior period. Now, revenue declined 19%. Reflecting a 14% drop in passenger numbers and also a 16% reduction in available seat capacity. Now, the airline said the first half of the year was marked by operational and financial challenges, including the temporary grounding of 3 of its Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner aircraft, which represented about 33% of the airline's wide-body fleet. Now, this was all due to global supply chain disruptions and also engine availability constraints, it says. Well, earlier I spoke to the airline's group managing director and CEO, Allan Kilavuka, to get more insight into these numbers.
The main driver is constraint when it comes to capacity. So last year we were flying at full capacity. Unfortunately, this year, first half of the year, we've experienced significant capacity constraints. You mentioned that we are down 19%. In fact, if you could translate that into actual numbers, you'll find that we have about 17 billion Kenya shillings down in terms of revenue number.
Right.
And that can be traced directly to a capacity constraint. Our wide-body fleet, we had 3 wide bodies that had been grounded last year because of engine and spare parts shortage. And we also had 4 of our narrow-body fleet also out of action. So in totality, we had approximately 20% of capacity shortfall.
I'm just curious, how much of these setbacks were as a result of industry headwinds or global headwinds? You did mention that your wide-body fleet was impacted due to global supply chain disruptions as well. Give us some insight into how much your bottom line has been impacted.
We had anticipated that we were going to grow year on year compared to last year by about 8%. But of course, we have, to your point earlier, we have actually declined by 19%. So there's a direct correlation between a decline in capacity, decline in profitability, and therefore an increase in the loss position that we've had.
Right.
But we think this is a temporary constraint, given all the actions we are taking to try and bring back the capacity to 100%. So far, we've been able to bring back 1 wide body, that is in July. We expect that we'll bring back another one in September, and hopefully the last one in November, December.
Well, before we get into your strategy going forward, we know that areas like cargo had been on an upward trend. Give us some insight into the brighter spots when we look at these numbers.
We look at how do we increase the capacity for cargo today from 4 freighters and double that capacity over time. We also have entered into many partnerships with some of the airlines. You saw our partnership with SafariLink, which will help ease the traffic of passengers. We've also entered into partnerships with Qatar. The idea there is to use both capacities for the betterment of our customers. So with time, we'll see how that will pan out. And then we have also with Air Tanzania, same thing. How do we make sure that we have these capacities and we have synergies from both sides that will support the passenger journey, in one airline or the other.
So certainly strategic partnership seems to be a key part of your strategy going forward. But what about that search for a strategic investor? We know you were targeting an injection of up to $2 billion. Is there any update on that?
We still are waiting for the final approval from the principal shareholder. But the update is that we have begun the preparation of the investment memorandum, which will support the push for capital raising, whether it is through a strategic investor or any other mechanism. And like you rightly pointed out, we are looking to up to $2 billion, with a minimum of $500 million being the floor, and the ceiling being the $2 billion. So anything in between will see us grow consistently from now for the next 5 years to double our capacity and increase all the other products that we offer, particularly to customer airlines.
And before we let you go, I do have to ask you, how do you strike that balance when it comes to collaborating with strategic partners and also maintaining control of that regional monopoly or regional market share that you have? And I have to ask about that ambitious project with South African Airways. You look to actually launch a joint venture to create a new airline concept. What is the update on that?
The idea was to come up with an airline group, which ultimately will consolidate both airlines and others to create scale so that we are able to compete and be more formidable, but more sustainable. Over the years, what we've done is we've fragmented the business. So we have airlines popping up everywhere, and all of them are unviable because they're too small to succeed. So going forward, what by necessity we have to do is how do we create a bigger scale? And that's coming together. And that's what the thinking was with South African, because if you look at our positioning, South Africa, Johannesburg, and Nairobi, you see that actually it's very complementary. Southern Hemisphere, Eastern, and we can serve the East, you can serve both West and so forth. So we had looked at it and thought it was very complementary. In addition, we also are source and destination markets, so that's very helpful. Unfortunately, I think South Africa have felt that they want to pull back from this initiative because they want to focus more on growing the airline, which is, of course, perfectly understandable. So what we have done is, because we still believe in this agenda, is continue selling this idea to other potential African carriers who see this vision of having a Pan-African airline group that is more formidable.